Welcome to Real Life Shh with Chrissy. First and foremost, happy Thanksgiving. Maybe today is Thanksgiving for you. Maybe it's a week later or a month later or a year later. Either way, this episode will be super helpful for today or any future family gatherings. For those of you who are new listening to Real Life Shh with Chrissy for the first time, congratulations! You have found an awesome podcast that is totally relatable. I am Chrissy, your host, and I am going to open up my personal life book and expose all the real rawness of my personal life so that you, my friend, know that you are not alone and that there's still hope through connection with each other and the divine. Let's face it, the holidays can be emotional times. Whether your emotions are high with joy and excitement, happiness, comfort, or stress, anxiety, depression, or maybe even loneliness, the emotions are running high for sure. Thanksgiving for me personally are all of the above emotions. I have a huge, amazing, loud, opinionated, loving, and intense family. And guess what? I wouldn't have it any other way. Thanksgiving has always been one of my favorite holidays because I get to be around my family who I love and adore. But let's face it, big families come with big, intense emotions. But the same goes for smaller families as well. Within my big family, I noticed that most of us tend to cope with these intense emotions with, and I bet you can fill in the blank if you've been listening to my show, we gravitate towards the numbing effects of alcohol. This was a learned behavior since I can remember. And to be honest, I joined the party full throttle as soon as I could, even before my legal drinking age of 21. It really wasn't until I became pregnant with my first son that everything kind of shifted in my own perspective of what was really happening around me every year at these Thanksgiving gatherings. Every year with my family, there is arguing, criticism, complaining, crying, and there's a good chance of a straight up verbal fight or even physical fight. Yep. But also every year for Thanksgiving, there's also laughter, smiles, hugs, games, bonding, teamwork, gratitude, obviously good comfort food, leftovers, and new fond memories. There's even talent shows every year. So the reason why my perspective shifted was when I was pregnant with my firstborn. It wasn't because I was a saint. It was because I couldn't numb myself with a simple act of drinking anymore. Well, because I was pregnant. And anybody who's been around a group of intoxicated people while sober can relate to the initial shock, criticism, confusion, isolation, and annoyances that one might feel in that situation. I'll be honest, it did take a few years for me to adjust, not completely numbing myself in the Thanksgiving environment with my beloved family. And at first I would get quite annoyed and angry, particularly with my husband, because he wanted to bond with my family. So he would partake in the excessive drinking as well. But which in a way, it was a little charming because he does want to bond with my family so much. And I want to point out, I was definitely called out for not being as fun as I was in the previous years when I would heavily drink with my family. Maybe I was even considered a party pooper. Well, it was definitely an adjustment for both myself and my family. The truth is, I kind of became a ball of stress. I was no fun, especially after my children were born, because it was very hard to be drunk and a good parent at the same time. Unless you have a sober partner, then at best, you can be the fun parent, while the sober parent gets to do all the not so fun tasks, like making sure our children are safe, fed, well rested, clean, emotionally healthy, and kind of a crazy environment. So what would happen is I wouldn't get drunk so that our kids would have at least one sober parent to rely on. And also so my husband could bond with my family in his own way. So again, for a few years, I was quite bitter, but still, I didn't want to miss the possibility of those fond new memories. And as a kid, I absolutely loved Thanksgiving with a big family, and I still do. And I want my kids to be able to enjoy that excitement and the love that comes with a big family Thanksgiving. Thankfully, over the years, I've learned how to happily adjust, cope, and keep myself centered during these fun-filled, kind of crazy, chaotic family Thanksgivings. It happened organically. I noticed that I would hang out more with the kids than the adults because obviously, well, I hope anyways, the kids were sober. So I would relate to them more. And to be honest, it brought joy to my heart and a smile to my face to be around all my nieces and nephews. I also noticed that I started to sneak off to find quiet places, maybe to take a nap or just watch some TV or comedy or talk on the phone or scroll on social media, maybe do a little holiday shopping. But if you have a big family like mine, what usually happens is that you'll notice a group of loud family members, and that's like the party crew. Woo! They're like, let's get ready to party. And they're simply trying to party and have a good time. Or they might be trying to cope with the loud energy in the room. But if you look around the house, usually you'll find one or two other like energy people that are also trying to escape the party atmosphere for a beat. And that's what I would do. I would take advantage of that often. And I still do. A lot of times, family members, they would find me like feeding my kids their fourth meal after a big Thanksgiving meal, or another snack, or coloring at the kitchen table with my kids, just to find a little quiet time. And this really worked well for me and my kids for some time. But now they're a little bit older, and understandably, they want to hang out with their cousins and have fun too. So now I may go on a walk outside, or again, try to find a quiet place, maybe take a long bathroom break and escape. It's about walking away from the chaos, from the party energy, it's a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. But right now, I'm just trying to turn a new leaf lately for the last, 9 or 10 years now, because I've been subconsciously at first, but now consciously taking time to go into a quiet place, maybe even pray, meditate, do whatever is necessary to recenter myself during these sober-ish Thanksgivings for me lately. They are a lot more enjoyable. And trust me when I say, if Thanksgivings are a lot for you emotionally and energetically, oh man, I can relate. Let me put it this way. A family member of mine compared our Thanksgiving to a specific episode in the Hulu series, The Bear. If you watch this, you'll know what I'm talking about. After I watched this episode of craziness, I admitted that, I can see some similarities with our family and their family. And if you're interested, I'm talking about episode 6 from season 2 titled Fishes from the Hulu show The Bear. My family, they're not as extreme as this bear family, but still So very relatable and similar to that family. And also, I just got to give you a heads up. It's a big trigger warning, this show. So watch out and get ready for the ride. Okay, so back to this reality. What's been happening lately, especially this year, is that I've noticed that because of the energy shift in our world, I'm proud to say that people are starting to recognize and hold their boundaries. This year for our family will be one of the first years that we don't have a huge Thanksgiving. Normally we have like 30 to 50 people. This year it's only going to be around 10, maybe 15 with some visitors after dinner. And the reason for that is because, well, some of my family members, they want a little break. And I can totally understand that. I really can. And there's no shame in saying, no, thank you. Yes, feelings might be hurt, but I know better to take it personally. And hopefully those who you said or say no thank you to will someday understand that it's not personal. Hey, it's actually something to celebrate that you're finally honoring your boundaries. Because indeed, it can be tiring and overwhelming to be around those who you love and love you, but also who may not be respecting your boundaries. And it's not because they're trying not to respect your boundaries. It's more likely that they just don't know how to yet. So job well done if this is you this year. And if you're like me, who still wants to be in it while still upholding their boundaries and keeping your center, then please do yourself a favor and listen to your intuition. When you start feeling overwhelmed and the anxiety is coming on, or the stress or the urge to fight with another family member or talk back to your mom or whoever it may be, throw the spatula across the kitchen. I don't know what's going on in your family. And I'm not saying that that's happening in my family, or maybe it has. I don't know. Take a beat and go find that quiet space to recenter yourself with prayer or meditation, maybe even like a comedy, a movie, whatever it is that you need to do to keep yourself full of love and gratitude, because that is what this holiday is about. Well, at least I like to focus on the thankfulness part, the gratitude part, and not the whole fact that, people were like slaughtered for the founding of this country part. I like to focus on the gratitude, the thankful part. And that's what I'm going to do right now. I am thankful for my family, even though they may seem crazy, drunk, and emotional, and I am too still in a lot of ways. We may be all of those things, as well as loving, understanding, open, and accepting. My beautiful family can be all of those things, and I love them, and I am thankful for them. So this year, when I'm feeling overwhelmed, you might find me on a walk, or in a quiet part of the house, or hugging my kids, my husband, or any other family member. And let yourself honor yourself by listening to yourself. If you are saying to yourself, okay, I feel like I've had enough, then maybe it's time to go say your thank yous and your goodbyes. And don't let anybody guilt trip you for that. Have love and appreciation for your family and for yourself for honoring your boundaries. And also, remember that laughter is healing. There have been so many fond memories that I have over all the years of Thanksgiving with my family. I'm just going to give you one of them off the top of my head. So we do the talent show, right? And this is a funny memory. The kids always do the talent show. And one year, my husband did it with my oldest son. And they decided they're going to put on this fart song of all songs and do a dance to it. And my husband, yes, he was intoxicated, took my son, who was about 3 years old, and every time this song would fart, and if you have kids, you probably have heard the song, he would just stick his butt out and kind of shoot it out to the audience, my family, and do a little fart dance with it. And it was hilarious. And instead of getting annoyed by the drunk antics and oh my gosh, what are you doing? You're so drunk. I laughed my ass off because it was indeed funny. And my son got to bond with my husband and everyone there. And so what if they were intoxicated? We were all laughing and we created a really nice, funny memory that we still talk about today. So if you're in that situation, try to find the light of it. Try to find the fun, the laughter, and also understand you made the decision to either show up or not, and just be in it exactly how it is. Explore without expectations, right? Go to your family's house. Enjoy the time without expecting them to do anything in return, and just find the light in it. I am so thankful for this conversation. I am so thankful for my awesome, kind of crazy, fun, loving, compassionate family. And I am so thankful for you. Please do me the honor of following, sharing, rating, and reviewing this podcast. I would be so thankful for that. A very warm and happy Thanksgiving to you and your loved ones. And so it is.